everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rift News, the show you are most likely going to watch because you wanna see people make me point at things. At this point, I don't know how to stop them. This time around, what started as a relatively peaceful week with not much to talk about, quickly turned into a storm of skins and news. So since we now do have a lot to talk about, as always, let's start with what is new in League of Legends. It all started with a brand new post about challenges. We got reminded that challenges are coming to the live servers soon, and we got reminded of the main goal of the challenges. You see, challenges have been up on PBE for a while now, and Riot already started collecting feedback. And based on that feedback, they will improve how challenges are grouped and categorized, and they will improve how they are displayed at the end of a game. If you have never seen them on PBE, just ignore all of this, it doesn't really matter. It's mostly visual updates anyway. They then once again confirmed that the reason why there is a lot of personal customization in this system is because that's what people wanted. You see, ranked players have ranked borders to show off, but unless you play ranked games, there is nothing to be proud of. And no, your Yasuo mastery shouldn't make you proud either. And so, to give casuals something fun to progress towards, Riot showed off some of their challenges. You can earn the title Po Royalty by exploding a Poro on ARAM. Ironic. There is a challenge for destroying turrets with Rift Herald. You can get the title Iconic for collecting 100 icons. How about getting 20 stacks on Magi's before 20 minutes? And what about finishing your support quest before the enemy support? Or for killing Baron solo, you get the title Baron. There is also one for getting multiple kills after flashing aggressively. This one will give you the title Flashy. Or simply deal 40% of your team's damage on ARAM. I'm not gonna lie, all of these challenges sound like something fun to do on stream. I may actually play League again. But that's really it. At the end of the post, they mentioned that they will be ready with 300 challenges. There will be 2,700 tokens to be claimed, and 100 different titles. And all of that should go live for the patch 12.9 right before MSI. Besides this, on PBE, the next mini-event will finally have a visual progression. You know, the little Battle Pass graphic that other games have had for 6 years now? I can't believe we're getting there! And of course, after this, we got new skins dropping onto PBE. And brace yourselves, because this time around, they are really good. After a long wait, the best skin line to be ever released finally returns. First, we are getting Solar Eclipse Sivir, which is a legendary skin. And as all the other legendaries, she has unique animations and unique voice lines. I have to say, I love the shield-styled blade so much. There is a reason why it's so important for Sivir to have a good design of her weapon. It's because she doesn't really have spell effects. It's all just her weapon. Okay, there is the shield, and also during her ultimate she ascends into her golden form. That one looks really good. But yeah, just overall, this skin is gorgeous and it easily fits in right next to Leona. Next up, there is Solar Eclipse Gale. Her starting form is fine. I am not a massive fan of that dark green on her wings, but her final ascended form is amazing. I'm just surprised that she has 2 Solari blades. It might have been cooler if she had a Solari and a Lunari blade in each hand. That would have been a really cool twist on that skin line. But still, it is a really good skin. Then there is Solar Eclipse Sejuani. I love it all here. From the armor, to the flail, to the suncrests all around, to Bristle being turned into an owl beast. It is all just so good. This is then followed upon with Lunar Eclipse Aatrox, who looks like an incredible Dark Knight. I always like the Solar Eclipse more than the Lunar Eclipse, but this one is starting to break the pattern. The armor design alone is great. And of course, his ultimate form is really shiny. And then there is Lunar Eclipse Senna. Now, for a while, I couldn't figure out why she just doesn't seem to fit the skin line. But then it clicked. The main fantasy of the Eclipse skins is heavy plated armor. This is the fantasy that Leona set for us. And all the other skins fit that theme perfectly. And then there is the leather suit, which unfortunately does not make Senna look like a knight. If you look at the in-game model, she actually looks closer to something like Withered Rose. Yes, the moon imagery with the eclipse are there, and to be honest, it is a pretty good skin, but it just doesn't feel like an eclipse skin. And if you want to separate her even further from the eclipse theme, look no further than her prestige skin. The good news is that this does look like a totally different skin. The bad news is she already has a prestige skin with champagne pink elements. I just don't understand why Senna got it instead of someone like Gale. If they needed an attractive female champion for that prestige skin, just... It is all attractive women! Why Senna, who already has a prestige skin? If you ask me, this actually makes no sense. And yes, it is quite far from the Eclipse too. If anything, this looks like the Battle Queen skin line. Thankfully, Riot didn't end on a lower note and they gave us even more skins. We then got Sea Dog Yasuo, which... Okay, this one is not that much of a step up. It's a good skin, it is a higher quality, it has very good spell effects, and it is themed after the Buru who fought Viego during the events of the Ruined King game. But even though this is technically themed after canon events, that skin is not a lore skin. It is not canon at all. Whatever Yasuo is doing here, he did not do that during those events. What is canon, however, is Gangplank the Betrayer. This is the canon version of Gangplank when he was possessed by Viego during the events of the Ruined King game. And I love this. It's been a while since we've gotten a skin that was based on lore. The last one might have been Vel'Koz. In his recall, you can see the scene where Gangplank tried to wield Viego's powers but failed, and Viego possessed the necklace that was supposed to protect them from the Black Mist. Also, the blade in the crater perfectly mimics the scene from the game. Overall, this is a great idea, and even though we know that this is not going to be one of the most popular skins, I really wanna see more. I love it when Riot does this. Also, the barrels spread around the Black Mist, which is a really nice touch. Of course, all of these skins will also have their own chroma skins, which means that you can now paint Gangplank's beard any color you want. And the Eclipse skins are getting way more colors than just orange and blue, even though orange and blue still dominate them. All of this comes in with 2 new icons for the Eclipse bundles, 1 new emote for Prestige Senna, and a whole bunch of MSI icons and emotes. After this, we got news that Talia, Olaf and Swain will get their own mini rework. For Olaf, I understand it, he's pretty old. For Talia, I understand it too, she has a pretty niche audience. For Swain, I don't really understand why. His kit was not the worst, I just hope they keep him as a support. From these, Olaf already popped up on PvE. His lifesteal moved from his W to his passive. His passive attack speed now scales with levels. His Q additionally shreds armor. W gives him a flat attack speed and a new shield. And his ultimate is a lot shorter, but you extend its duration whenever you attack someone. So you are no longer going to use your ultimate to get into the middle of a fight, but instead you get to the middle of the fight and then you press your ultimate. All of these changes essentially mean that his unstoppable bloodlust will be a bit more stoppable. Swain also popped up on PvE. Newly, Swain is no longer able to pull crown control targets. That was moved exclusively to his E. And the pull also no longer deals damage. To compensate for that damage, his Q now has a shorter cooldown, is cheaper and a lot stronger. As mentioned, when it comes to his E, he can now only pull targets that he himself rooted, and his ultimate no longer gives him flat bonus health. But instead, it is getting a different buff. It will now have an energy bar that slowly depletes. You can also restore it by draining people, which means that as long as you are draining people, the ultimate lasts forever. But after 3 seconds you can recast your ultimate, which deals massive damage compared to the previous version. It also massively slows the enemy, but most importantly, it does not end your ultimate. As long as you have your energy, you will keep draining people. Overall, these changes should make him a little bit less tanky, but also give him a lot more damage. Which means that he will be squishier, but he will also be an excellent drain tank. Lastly, when it comes to Talia, we actually have no idea what Riot plans for her. That will probably come later. When it comes to League, there is only one more thing to mention. Ghostcrawler tweeted that Riot is still looking for more people to work on their MMO, but he also mentioned that the MMO is not guaranteed to come out. This makes sense because otherwise Riot would have at least announced it. And he also mentions that if the MMO comes out, it would be his last project. Which makes sense because, for those of you who don't know, Ghostcrawler has been on League of Legends for a while, he has also been working on WoW, but he also started on Age of Empires. Just Google when that game came out and you'll realize, yeah, that guy deserves some rest. What is important for us is that, yeah, the MMO is definitely not guaranteed to come out. But that is it for League, so now on to the other games! Both TFT and Legends of Runeterra only got a patch this week. TFT got some big balancing when it comes to its augments, but no specific champions were nerfed, which means that the unit balancing is actually pretty good. And the patch for Legends of Runeterra has mostly been bugs. But this takes us to Valorant. There, a whole bunch of teasers for the next agent dropped. If you go to the practice range, you may overhear the agents tracking down a blackmailer. This new infiltrator character is going to be the main rival of Cypher. On the main Valorant Twitter, we also got a short teaser for that. This might be actually teasing a new short cinematic. And if this is giving you creepy vibes, you should see what happens when you snoop around the practice range. Yeah, Riot is turning Valorant into a horror game with the new agent. Omen certainly doesn't look so spooky anymore. If you want to learn more about these teasers in general, you should probably go and check out Sinpro's channel. All the Valorant lore is being covered there. Now, besides the agent teasers, we got a new Doodle skin. While this skin line does not have a finisher, it does color in some of the characters every time you get a takedown. And the skin line has 3 different variants. There are comic versions of the Valorant agents, the little animal buddies that they created, but also there is a League of Legends version, where you can find anything from Teemo and Gwen to the Pentakill band. It's honestly a really unique idea for a skin line. But that is it for this episode of Rift News. There are also some other interesting things which we could have mentioned, such as the fact that Valorant Masters are happening and there are only 2 agents that have not been picked yet, Phoenix and Yoru. So the Yoru rework has not been that successful. Regardless, after the March content drought, something is finally happening. But it's not happening that quickly. I can't wait for challenges to come out, maybe I'll finally play the game. And if not, I'll just point at borders or something.